Hello and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. An Ethiopian water resource expert says Ethiopia's filling of the $5 billion dam in the upcoming rainy season is in the best interest of Egypt. Talking to ETV, the scholar said Ethiopia should go ahead with filling the dam as scheduled, as doing so is a favorable hydrological condition. Attempts by Egypt and the Sudan to pressure Ethiopia into signing the 1959 colonial agreement is nothing but a blatant violation of the principle of equitable share of the Nile waters. Goshu Melissa reports.
This time around, Egypt and Sudan are resorting to the UN Security Council after the latest round of AU brokered negotiation in Kinshasa ended without agreement. Egypt has been busy trying to enlist the support of 6 African countries over the GERD. In connection with this, water resource expert Ruswa Safa says Ethiopia's filling of the mega dam is actually in the best interest of Egypt. He told ETV that the second filling of the dam would create a favorable hydraulic condition for Egypt.
We went also in a very favorable hydrologic conditions. But still, for Egypt that has a multi-year reservoir, they are sitting on full reservoir. So if you compare what Ethiopia is planning for summer with 13.5 billion cubic meter, there is more water actually evaporating from High Aswan Dam than that. In fact, combined, probably close to combined last year and this year. So to me, what they need to look at is that what is the best efficient way to utilize the resources. It is in the best interest of Egypt for Ethiopia to fill the dam now. It's not me. Even the Egyptian professionals will tell you this. They don't say it on camera, but I have communication. Most of them, they say they actually prefer Ethiopia fills now. Why? Because the High Aswan Dam is full.
Ethiopia has pinned its hopes on the dam, now over 79% complete for its development, while Egypt is clearly against it, he said.
Obviously, both Sudan and Egypt are relying on the 1959 agreement that allowed them to use 100% of the Nile water. So this itself has a problem. And that agreement, which Ethiopia is not part of, also says that they will be the one who basically will give permission for any kind of project upstream. And Ethiopia was not part of this. Ethiopia didn't sign this. So Ethiopia cannot be forced to honor something that it didn't sign. And it doesn't make to sign, as you can imagine, with 0% of the total water when you contribute 86%.
He also underscored that Ethiopia filled the dam from its share of water due to favorable rainy season.
And I should mention as well that whether it is 4.9, 13.5, it's also within Ethiopian share as well. So we have to remember, Ethiopia, I'm pretty sure if they crunch the numbers, it will come back at some number. So Ethiopia is using her share of water to fill the dam. So I don't think that should be lost.
Despite Egypt and Sudan sticking on a legally binding agreement before Ethiopia's second water filling this summer, Ethiopia has time and again rejected the notion of a binding agreement while vowing to fill the dam as scheduled.
Ethiopia is the source of the Blue Nile and contributes over 85% of the Nile's stream flow. To this day, Egypt and Sudan are using 100% of the water, sticking to their 1959 colonial agreement between them. Not being signatories, Ethiopia and other upstream states do not recognize this agreement. Ethiopia is at the eve of completing the Great Renaissance Dam. Costing over $5 billion that is being paid by ordinary Ethiopians. This dam will generate 5.1 gigawatt of power, and it is a non-consumptive, eco-friendly, existential necessity to millions. The three countries have been in dispute over the construction, filling and operation of this dam. Even thought this dam provides major benefits to Sudan and Egypt in terms of reducing evaporation loss, silt, sedimentation and unexpected flood. This dam is not just about generating power. It is a matter of survival for millions of Ethiopians who deserve a dignified life as their Egyptian counterparts.
You're watching Addis News Hour. Egyptian politicians are calling for support from Arab countries on Egypt's proposal to dismantle Ethiopia by meddling in its internal affairs. Activists and politicians in the country are also witnessing Egypt to be the engine of instability in Ethiopia, supported by its strategic allies. Sintayo Tamrat has reviewed the following story.
Many politicians criticize Egypt for its evil deeds of destabilizing the Horn region and beyond in Africa, let alone Egypt's interests and participation in civil conflicts in Libya, Sudan and South Sudan. Egypt was there in the Ethio-Eritrea civil war of post-1991. Egypt's long hand, though not as it demanded, has been in Somalia, critics gone. Not only political analysts, but also Pan-Africanists say Egypt, an anti-African, pro-Arab country, has never wanted in its history the existence of an active and strong power in the region. And now Egypt and Egyptian politicians are relentlessly working to dismantle Ethiopia by supporting and arming rebel groups. This is what the country's politicians and activists are saying. They are even calling for support from Arab countries on Egypt's proposal to dismantle Ethiopia.
أخطر مكان نهتم بيه إحنا بني شنقول. بني شنقول الخريطة لو سمحت يا إبراهيم من فضلك. بني شنقول المنطقة اللي فيها سد النهضة.
Egyptian politicians are appreciating the recent protest in the Amhara region. It's the most important thing for Egypt's grand plan on Ethiopia, they say. They even got to the point where they say this is the sign of the end of Prime Minister Abiy's government. And after training and arming the Gums rebel militia, Egypt is now taking the final step to separate Ethiopia's Benishangul Gums region. The armed Gums militia has been unleashing brutal ethnic attacks on ethnic minorities in Ethiopia's western Benishangul Gums region, where the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is located. Hundreds of civilians have been massacred and tens of thousands displaced in this area. And it's for this evil reason that Egyptians are calling for Arab support. They are instigating both the rebels and the Sudanese people to enter full-scale war with Ethiopia and the government. And it's also a clear message to Ethiopians to defend their sovereignty.
مع الأورومو مع التجري مع الأمهرة فبالتالي من أهم المناطق
They use their usual wrong narrative that Benishangul Gums is Sudan's land that inhabits 5 million people and half of these people are Arabs. Their erroneous narrative is that the Oromos and the Amharas together have invaded the land which is the land of the Sudanese Arabs. However, the Benishangul are chasing and killing the Amharas and Oromos, they say. Since Egypt's long-standing quarrel with Ethiopia is based on the Nile water, they take the fact that Ethiopia's dam is being built in this region. So dismantling this region from Ethiopia will help Egypt's dream of blocking Ethiopia's dam construction. Egyptian activists and politicians are also witnessing Egypt is the engine of the instability in different parts of Ethiopia. One of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's political activists said this.
Those forces currently rebelling against the Ethiopian federal government are Egypt's strategic allies. It is best for us if these rebellions destroy the dam, then our army goes to Ethiopia and destroy it. This is the best way to accomplish our dream, and Egypt's government is doing day and night on this issue. Egyptian people, you shouldn't complain why the government has not taken military action against Ethiopia's dam. Our government is doing secretly on this. It is doing all it has to do to meet our goal, but we shouldn't disclose everything to you.
ባህሉን ትውፊቱን የኮሶበርን የእንጅባራን ታሪካዊ አመጣጥ እሴቱን እንመለከታለን።
እንጅባራ ማለት በኢትዮጵያ ታሪክ ውስጥ የጥንት ከተማ ከሚባሉት አንዷ ነች። እንዲሁ እንጅባራ በማለት ሳይሆን ረጅም ዘመን ያስቆጠረች ከጎንደር ነገስታት ጀምሮ የተመሰረተች ነች።
You're watching Addis News Hour. Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Demeke Mekonnen has held discussions with Marcel C. Akpovo, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights Regional Representative for East Africa. He appreciated Marcel for the readiness of supporting Ethiopia's efforts in strengthening the promotion and protection of human rights in Ethiopia. The discussion between the two sides also covered the Ethiopia-Sudan border dispute and the negotiations over the GERD. Marcel, on his part, thanked the Deputy Prime Minister for extending support and cooperation to the success of his office in the region. The regional representative also expressed satisfaction with the working relation and collaboration with EHRC in particular, and the joint investigation over the Tigray issue. The Ethiopian Ministry of Science and Higher Education said the U.S. higher education institutions are cooperatively working on strengthening partnership in the ongoing reform of the country. During a consultative meeting, Ministry of Science and Higher Education State Minister Professor Afewerk Kasu said the platform is instrumental in shaping Ethiopia's human resource development efforts. To this end, he commented, universities should work round the clock to come up with skilled and productive manpower. Representatives from the U.S. Embassy to Ethiopia, Carmela McFoy and Catherine Matthew, PhD, presented the purpose of the intended project and other related issues. Head of the Ethiopian Catholic Church, His Eminence Cardinal Berhane Jesus, called upon developed countries to share COVID-19 vaccines as coordination is much needed. Cardinal Berhane Jesus Surafil stated the entire nation has to take all the possible precautions in order to prevent further spread of the pandemic, and governments of developed nations are expected to work in collaboration with developing ones in due course of distributing the vaccine. Expressing the severe impact of the pandemic in the country and the world at large, he said that all of us should implement the proclamation set and principles cascaded from the Ministry of Health to effectively contain the rapid spread of the pandemic. According to EPA, His Eminence Cardinal Berhane Jesus underscored that as the vaccine is a result of researches based on knowledge and wisdoms, and faith and science are not antagonistic to it, the Church encourages the usage of the vaccine. China Chamber of Commerce in Ethiopia has donated medical supplies worth 20 million birr to Eka Kotebe General Hospital. While receiving the supplies, the Health State Minister Alem Tsahai Paulo said the donation is very important and timely as the country is battling with the pandemic, which is growing very rapidly. She extended gratitude to the government of China and the Chamber of Commerce for the donation. Chairperson of China Chamber of Commerce in Ethiopia, Wen Yingzheng, said the donation has been made in support of Ethiopia's efforts to contain the pandemic, pledging continued support till the virus is well contained. Medical Director of Eka Kotebe General Hospital, Dr. Yared Agidao, to his part, said the supplies secured from the Chamber of Commerce will play a crucial role in addressing shortage of equipment posed by an increasing admission of COVID-19 patients to the facility.